In the 11th inquiry, called Backache, we hear how he had pain in the back. In the past, it seems, the Buddha-to-be was reborn in a householder's family, and although he was somewhat short by nature, he was endowed with great strength. At that time, there was one wrestling contest champion in the villages, towns and royal cities in the whole of the Roseapple Island who, after throwing men in a wrestling contest, achieved success. And by, having arrived at the Buddha-to-be's residential town and throwing people there, he got ready to leave. Then the Buddha-to-be, thinking, having achieved success in this my place of residence, he is going, came right there to the town centre and slapping his arms said, "Come, after fighting with me you can go. After laughing, I have thrown huge men. This dwarf, who is short in nature, is not able to fight even with one of my hands," and slapping his arms and roaring he came on. They both grabbed each other by the arm, and the Buddha-to-be, after lifting him and swirling him around in the sky, throwing him on the floor, threw him again, breaking his backbone. All the town dwellers made acclamation, and after slapping their arms, they honoured the Buddha-to-be with clothes, decorations, and so on. The Buddha-to-be, after laying that wrestler straight and straightening his backbone, dismissed him, saying, "Go from here, and henceforth do not behave in this way." Through that deed and its result, after undergoing suffering in his body, head, and so on, in rebirth after rebirth, in this his last state of existence, when he became a Buddha, he also suffered with pain in the back. Therefore, sometimes when his back pain arose, he said to Sariputta and Moggallana, "Please teach the doctrine," and preparing his robe, he lay down. The Buddha was surely not free from the connection with that deed. So this was said: "Once, while I was wrestling, I badly injured another wrestler. Through that deed and through its result, I suffered a pain in my back." In the 12th inquiry, called Dysentery, we hear about him purging bloody dysentery. In the past, it seems, the Buddha-to-be was reborn in a householder's family and earned his living through medical treatment. One day, while treating a merchant's son who was oppressed by disease, he gave medicine and cured him. But because the patient was heedless in giving a gift to him, he gave him another medicine and made him vomit. Then the merchant gave him a great deal of wealth. Through that deed and its result, he purged with bloody dysentery in rebirth after rebirth. Also in this his last state of existence, near the time he attained final emancipation, through eating tender pork that had been cooked by Chunder the smith, even though godly nutrients were dropped in by all the gods from the whole universe together with that food, when he had eaten, he purged with bloody dysentery, and he who had the strength of 1 billion elephants came to destruction. The Gracious One, on the full moon night of Visakha in May, while going to Kusinara to attain final emancipation, at many places sat down because of thirst, and after drinking water, having with great suffering nearly reached Kusinara, at the time of dawn attained final emancipation. The Lord of the three worlds surely could not abandon the connection with that deed. Therefore it is said, "At the time I was a physician, I made a merchant's son's purge. Through that deed and through its result, I had amoebic dysentery." So the victor explained at the head of the community of monks, the one with all knowledge and strength at the great lake Anotata. So he answered the inquiries, and according to the arrangement of the tabulation, the unwholesome traditions are said to be complete. The Gracious One is endowed with good fortune. He is a great being who has fulfilled the perfections. Fortunate, devoted to good, having a share of the graces, graceful, gone to existence's end, thus he is the Gracious One. Thus the One, virtuous from the beginning, the One who is God of all gods, most able of the able, supreme of those supreme, Buddha amongst those who are Buddhas, the greatly compassionate, gracious One, spoke about his own life as Buddha and his deeds as Buddha, making him famous and honoured in what is known as the traditions about the Buddha, the publication of the deeds of the Buddha. He spoke this doctrinal instruction, this doctrinal teaching, this discourse. Thus the splendour of the pure ones, the commentary on the traditions, the explanation of the traditions about the Buddha is complete.